Hey there, comic book friends! I'm Travis, and it's New Comic Book Day, or at least New Comic Book Day for me, and thank God it is New Comic Book Day right now. I'm exhausted, and I needed comics to have an excuse to take a break in the process of painting my house, kind of between the super hot, smoke-filled days of summer and hopefully before it is freezing cold all the time and whatnot. So I kind of fit that in between places, but I got a lot of old paint to scrape off in a lot of places. Prior trim that had been painted on the house is really peeling, so it's taking a lot longer than I expected it. And so comics are the deserved break. Yay! Anyway, quick kind of what the fugue, what's going on with me and my comics. I got some comic book art in this week. It took quite a while to get it. Actually, I kind of felt like I had to light a fire under the cellar a couple times to actually get the stuff. But super excited about it. I got this. I don't know how well you're going to see it. It's a piece of Christian Ward art. He is currently the artist on Black Bolt. This is a page from the Odyssey Image book he's doing with Matt Fraction. This is from issue 2, page 9. So really detailed. So the panels, which are these straight lines, are drawn really dark, really, like he clearly knew what he wanted as far as drawing those, drew those in nice as dark, and the rest of it is sketched in. What's really interesting is there's not a lot of pencil lines on here. And I don't know if he makes it a point of, not a lot of pencil lines, but a lot of like sketch lines. It's all pretty solid. So I don't know if he just really knows what he wants and is able to do that, or if he erases a lot before he scans this in. Because I believe that after he does the pencils, he scans it in and he colors digitally. And he does a lot of his art, because there's no cross hatching here. There's none of that kind of stuff that you would see potentially like in an inked a drawing, because this literally is pencils. So it's scanned in, and then it is inked and colored digitally. And Kristen Ward does a lot of heavy lifting, I think, in the coloring, and you can clearly see that by looking at this page. Which at some point when I get it framed, I'll show it off again and probably get a better look at it. But the cool thing about this, with this seller selling it through his art dealer, is you also get a colored print of the piece of work. So full size, it's the exact same size as the pencil drawing. I get a colored version of a colored print of it, so you can see, all the heavy lifting that is done with colors. And I think he is an amazing artist. His colors, the flow, the choice of palettes that he uses, the kind of bleeded out watercolor look of a lot of the stuff, I just really, really love. I like his panel work. He's got a really great sense of design on the page, I feel like. So, really excited about that. Got it at a really great deal. The stuff was being sold on site for like half price. So, I actually spent as much on a car battery for my truck this week as I did on this art. So, anyway, so I'm gonna get both framed. I don't think I can find some sort of tailor framing that isn't gonna cost me like $1 million to like frame these together. That would be awesome. And the printed is a little bit bigger in that it's got a border around it, and the original art doesn't. But I will just frame them and hang them right next to each other, so they're literally butted up as close as possible to each other, so you can see the two. So why this scene? I had lots to choose from. I really love the Odyssey book, and so I knew I wanted it from that as opposed to something else, even though getting a piece of Black Bolt art now would be kind of cool. But this scene has the whole pantheon in it, because this is the Odyssey, based after the traditional Odyssey, and it's got the Greek pantheon. They're all women. So I kind of wanted it because it had the whole pantheon. And this is the page where Zeus, our wonderful Zeus here, has learned that Promethean has destroyed all of man, because she doesn't want any children, because of course she was a child
she kills the rest of the Titans. She kills Kronos after she was birthed, from him, and Zeus doesn't want any more children because children are clearly a problem. So to deal with there being no children, she eliminates all of man. All of man is destroyed. So yay, no more children. She doesn't have to deal with that headache. But Promethean manages to create another race, a Sobex, I believe is what they're called. And they're basically women. They're kind of like mules. They're women that they, in their womb, they're can gestate in some other fashion, at any rate, so they can birth children, even though they are quasi women like. So, but they're not men, and that by letter of the law, Zeus can't do anything because she hasn't broken the law, even though she broke the intent of the law. And this is her talking about her having broken the law. Here she is. She can't really, punish her. She's looking at her, but the inspiration that fueled this was the lotus blossom. And so Zeus changes the effects of the lotus blossom to basically you get lost in old memories and can't move on with new memories. And, basically makes the lotus basically this giant head trip. You get high on the lotus and then you just don't function anymore. And that's pretty much what happens to Prometheus. Prometheus does not care, because she's partaking of the lotus so much, does not care to function anymore. And that's her way of punishing Prometheus for not having broken the law, the letter of the law, but broken the intent of the law. And this lotus ends up messing with a bunch of other people down the road too, because our main adventurer in this book stops off at the Lotus Den to kind of recoup, and it messes with a lot of stuff and whatnot. But yeah, really kind of cool to get both those things like that. Also sent me another Odyssey print. I don't think this is a printed page. I don't remember this page in the book, but it is another Odyssey page. I know it is because here our surfer. So this might be a page in the book. I'm not 100% sure. Interestingly, this one's actually signed by Kristen Ward. That's the one bummer about this page. There's nothing on it. There's nothing on it that officially identifies it as being that. I know that it is actually Kristen Ward art because it is an official art dealer and everything. Wow, my lighting. I keep blocking myself off and then my lighting goes bad. I know it's actually his work, so I'm kind of hoping one of these times he's in the States and because he's British. He's in the States and at a con. Hopefully I can hit that con with this page and actually have him sign it, because I'd really like to have him sign it because it's his art. It's his pencils. Just so there's no... I have Providence. I have digital proof of Providence, but I kind of would have to have physically on the page. I'm looking at my other pages I have hung up, and anything that doesn't actually have a actual honest to God signature on it, at least officially has, who the official people doing the work was on it. So, there's something there. Not that I ever going to get rid of the page, but it'd just be nice to have it. Anyway, here's the actual comic, issue 2. Here is my page. This is the page where Prometheus is doing the deed to create this thing, and as you can tell down here, Zeus is pissed. What? Do you know the problem? Do you want to know the problem with children? They just keep having more children. Yes. And the soothsayer is saying here, but your decree forbade any more men. Promethean has created an entirely new gender, capable, it would seem, only of spawning women and more Sabex. So it would seem. Recall, daughter, this precise moment when those words passed your tongue. I have a feeling they shall return to haunt you. Yes, girls, smiting Promethean would be unjust, for while the intent of my law may have been broken, the letter was not. It was a lotus-fueled inspiration that gave Promethean the vision and the ambition to make her great work. Grown and harvested by the Latafange, Yeah, that's a word I can't say. And consumed in spiritual revelries. Ah, of course, I cannot touch Promethean and still be righteous all Mother Zeus. I can make the flower inspire as to its as it too obliterates memory. She says down at the bottom about the plant. So, anyway, excited for that. To have that in my collection, even though I said I wasn't buying more art until I have things framed. I am still setting on a little cheat sheet here. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages of art to be framed. I've got 3 Ryan Kelly, not comic book art, but art by him that need to be framed. And I have a George Perez Wonder Woman, bust sketch that I want to have framed also. So a few things, one more added to that list. Who knows? And when we're spending money on painting my house, I probably am not going to do that. Anyway, taking up enough time with that, other than I just kind of want to say that, clearly the whole, never mind. Social media and people's opinions is sometimes an interesting thing. So let's see if I can get into my sealed up comics here. And we'll talk some comics because that's why we're here, right? So 17 books this week. My invoice is telling me. Let me get that out of the way there. Take a drink of my tea. Is anybody reading Better Call Saul? I mean, not reading, but watching Better Call Saul. I know that Gus is back in that. Just curious as to how that is. I started to watch it, and then I ended up not watching it. I need to watch it on Netflix. Anyway, straighten my mustache. Is it straight? Sure. I'm not setting it straight in front of my camera, though, right? Woo, it doesn't matter. Anyway, talk some comics. Issue number 1 of Angelic by Cy Spurrier and Wingard. I bought it for the art. Wingard is the artist who is on the book Limbo. I love his palette. This is typically the palette that he uses, this kind of purples and blues and whatnot. Not exactly sure what the book is about, to tell you the truth. Number 1, generally like Cy Spurrier. Most of the time, there's been some endings in some books I've been kind of about, but as a whole, I enjoy his writing. Certainly love the art, so I'm here for the art. Got monkeys and flying dolphins, and I don't know what else in it, but kind of curious to check it out and see what it's all going to be about. Trinity, issue number 13. This might be the last issue of Trinity I get. It's part of the Dark Destiny, so you've got the 2 different Trinities. You've got our superhero Trinity, and then you've got the magic Trinity that's Constantine, Deadman, and Santana. And then you have I don't know what kind of Trinity they're called, of Artemis, Bizarro, and the Red Hood. This hasn't really been great storytelling as a whole. As much as I want to read good stories about the Trinity, I like them as a group. Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. I like their personal relationship. I want somebody to write them and take all of that stuff, all that relation to the next level, instead of it being standard super affair. So that's why it's on a very short list, even though it's a monthly comic. Superman. This is issue number 31, Breaking Point, Part 1. Bonnie, Kirkham, and Perot. So, all creators that I do not know, face off of Deathstroke. So, it says it's Part 1. I don't know. I need to start paying closer attention to solicitations. I really like Superman when it's Tomasi and Gleason doing the book. Been less excited when it's been other people doing the book. So, we'll see. I don't know if the art on this cover is indicative of the art inside. Yeah, okay. I'm going to stick with Superman for a while. I have been enjoying it as a whole. Moments that I haven't, but we'll see. We'll see how some of these fill-in type people work. So, Next up, we have Generation Gone. This is issue number 3, I believe. Last issue we left off, issue 3. We left off in the middle of a riot starting to go on with our 3 teens that have, superpowers. Our one guy here cannot be hurt. There's a girl who can fly. And we have an African-American fellow who we're not 100% sure what his superpowers are, I don't think yet. And then there's the military that's trying to get them back. And a super scientist genius guy who kind of created these kids, who is trying to ensure that they don't get brought back, and that the code that rewrote their DNA gets spread, because he doesn't want children to fall victims to stuff anymore, because his child fell victim to some stuff, and so he's released this thing upon the world potentially. So it'll be interesting to figure out exactly how that story goes. Have definitely been enjoying it. Alice Cott is a really interesting, intriguing writer, and Andre Lima Arajo is the artist. So yeah, of course, here it is. Cave Carson has a cybernetic eye, issue 12. 1 year in, and I'm still really enjoying the heck out of this. John Rivera written story. I know it's got Jared Way's name on it. I think he kind of helped craft the initial idea as a curator of the Young Animals stories. Michael Avanomi's wonderful art with Nick Flaherty's great colors on it. Just kind of curious to see where this book goes. Still these arrows kind of tripping all over the place. It's kind of how the comic has been for a couple issues. It's been feels like it's been kind of tripped out all over the place. But I'm still enjoying it as a whole. Visually, it's really stimulating, really cool. So I'm really curious. I think this issue, I think, kind of squares things away. This might be the end of this initial adventure and whatnot. I don't know what's next. I'm really curious to see what's next. I thought I saw somewhere floating around that once all the Young Animal books of their first initial push hit issue 12, there's supposed to be like a mini kind of crossover between them and whatnot, which I'm not keen on, other than I get all the books. But from just a general story standing point, I'm not necessarily keen on it, unless all these creators already all know that when they hit this certain point, that's what they're going to do, and they're all sitting down together, which I know they have been meeting all together. So that could be cool as far as that goes. So, next up we have Mirror. Ooh, speaking of lotuses. So this is Mirror issue number 8. Can't believe it's only issue 8. It seems like I've read a lot more issues than just 8. I just really love this book. I love the visuals of it. The Hui Lim is just a really, really cool kind of penciled watercolor art to it that I just really visually find it very stimulating, very interesting. Emma Rios, who most people know from her artwork, is telling an interesting story. I think with her having the artist eye in mind, she probably writes understanding that better than maybe some writers do that aren't from the comic book world. But the story actually has been interesting. It's been actually way more lucid after this arc has been way more lucid after like that first bit of arc that kind of gave us some history and gave us some like current affairs, events, and stuff going on, and some battle between power structures and whatnot. This has been much more lucid, but like I said, I just really like it. It's got these great, wonderful kind of anamorphic characters in it that are magic in some sense. There's some spirits, I believe, in this, and it's just been really. Like I said, now I enjoy it more than I did initially. I enjoyed it initially too. Like, see, there's a ghost, that black figure there that's whispering around. There's a ghost up to something. But yeah, I'm really, like I said, I'm really enjoying it. Ooh, nice wrap around. Cover there, right? Yeah, this is a whale. It's probably one of the old ones. Have these old animals. They call the old ones like the first sentient beings from this asteroid type planet that all of the characters lived on at one point. It looks like here in the very back we get kind of a showing of how it all kind of this universe fits together, and what makes sense and doesn't. And when that first arc came out, that little backlog thing actually proved very, very helpful. Need it less so now because we're now more of in a cemented story than what some of that Lucid stuff was before. So, or less than Lucid stuff that was before. Wildstorm, issue number 7. Super stoked for this. Warren Ellis and John Davis Hunt. Colors by Stephen Bellaccio. I just really been enjoying this. I mean, this adventure in the Wildstorm universe has been great. I know in like an issue or two, the Michael character, our kind of hitman enforcer guy, who's kind of swapped sides now a bunch, is going to have his own story. So I'm curious to read that side story too. Looking forward to seeing how somebody else handles parts of the Wildstorm universe, but just a really cool story of this kind of strange world. And you just kind of keep peeling back layers of the onion and getting exposed to stuff and going, oh, well, that's cool. That makes sense. And then there's another little exposure that you're kind of going, what's that about? The next issue layers into and whatnot. So been some great stuff there. Batwoman. This is issue number 7. This is the first issue that's solely written by Bennett. Different artists on this. Blanco and Roche. In Sight of the Scarecrow. Fear and Loathing Part 1. That's a great cover. I'm not sure who did that cover. Let me take the time to check. Do you care? That's a scary cover. Interesting art inside. It has some of the granular look. Of course, it's the very end. It has some of the granular look to it that Jared's does in his work. He's doing Mr. Miracle right now. Stuff like that. As I bump the mic and really. So here's the new art. I'm liking the new art. As far as that goes, let's get to the cover. Who did the cover? Cover artist is Ben Oliver. That makes sense. That looks like Ben Oliver work. He has this kind of polished kind of oil look to a lot of his work. That kind of wispy edges kind of thing. So that makes a certain amount. Trippin' Bats is the name of this title in particular. Oh, I Am Scarecrow. That's a great picture right there. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this because this is pure Bennett story now. Marguerite Bennett, as opposed to having kind of a Tinian the Fourth kind of story that Bennett scripted. She's being left to her own accord. So I think we're going to get full on Bennett writing this character, how she envisions her, and all of that. So I am very much looking forward to that and seeing what that all ends up being like and whatnot. I really love the Batwoman character, so I have high hopes that this is better than the last last arc, that 6-issue thing that now we're going to kind of get off into it, really into its own thing. It's not tied into the Batverse as much and that sort of thing and whatnot. This is going to be a long video. Because I guess I don't feel like doing short videos. Issue number 5 of Girl Scouts Magic Socks. Love the art. Some subject matter in it is questionable. But I admit that visually it's stunning. It's stunning to me, kind of like it's visually stunning. Toby Cypress's art too. They all have this kind of really fluid feel to it that I really kind of enjoy. So enjoy it for the art more than the actual subject matter in that case. Yes, it is the quarter, so that means Headlopper is out, and this is Headlopper issue number 3 of the Crimson Tower adventure. What you see here is what you get. I love this book. Now, this arc of Headlopper may not be as gripping as the last one was, but I still really like it. I love this format, this quarterly kind of format. I really, really like a lot. So I only get it, every 4 months. I pay $6 for it, but it is a super thick, 60-some page, kind of a book that no ads, just pure wonderful. And McLean writes it, draws it. Jay Blair does the colors on it, and so ends up just being an awesome kind of a thing.
Okay, next up we have World of Animosity. I believe this is just a one-shot kind of a, hey, this is what the world looks like kind of thing. Marguerite Bennett, of course, right, because all the animosity stuff is her baby here at Aftershocks Comics. Raphael de La Torre and Don Juan on it. Don Juan's been doing quite a bit of work for Aftershocks Comics. He does the art for World Reader. He does the art for The Rise. Animosity the Rise. So I'm not sure exactly what is in this issue in particular. This might be one of those kind of things you buy it as kind of a, hey, I haven't been reading Animosity. I really want to read this. This gets you up to speed. We'll see if that's the case. If that's the case, might be a little disappointing for me just because, well, I've been reading all of it, so I don't need to be caught up to speed. But cool if that's what it is. And if that's what it is, they need to sell it that way. They need to bill it as a, hey, you should get this. This is a jumping on point. Get this, and then you can go and read the rest of this, be up current if you don't want to go backwards kind of thing. Hey, an issue of Bug. This is issue number 4 of 6. The Allreds, Lee, Mike, and Laura all cranking out the Bug book. Love it for the art. Have not really enjoyed the story all that much, but the Allred art is just kind of brilliant. This is kind of cool though. Get the Bug there and Dead Man there, and I don't know what the robot guy is in between, but yeah, I'll be reading it just out of curiosity, but I don't expect to necessarily enjoy it. So here is this is issue 4. I still have to get issue 3. That won't stop me from reading this. This is Bitch Planet Triple Feature, so it is 3 different stories written by 3 different groups of creators other than Kelly Sue DeConnick and Dave Lando. Playing in the sandbox that is Bitch Planet, the world that is Bitch Planet. Life as a Sportsman, Body Mod, and To Be Free. So these are by different. Just glancing offhand, Mark Deschamps and Mindy Lee, Sarah Woolley, Vita Alia, and Rossi Guilford. None of those names scream right off the top of my head is something that I know. But I'm interested in this world. I like the battle against the patriarchy and all the kind of weird twisted ways you could think of how society could take things to those extremes. And so I do enjoy those adventures to see what that ends up being like and whatnot. The book I'm really looking forward to, which is fun to say these days. Batman is issue number 31. More of the War of Jokes and Riddles. This one is just, the War of Jokes and Riddles. Doesn't have any extra. King, Janin, and Chung. So it's going to be awesome artwork. More of this battle. And right there, it looks like this is Team Joker as opposed to Team Riddler. So looking forward to that. I've really been enjoying this. I kind of like this whole back in the past told story. Love seeing all this eye candy of all the rogues gallery there. Just getting to see all these bad guys and stuff is just really fun, and Jan's art's just super awesome, so it makes it really a joy to read it. Book I'm always excited to read, Black Hammer, issue number 13. The equivalent of Darkseid there. Really curious to see what's next with this book. Last issue was a focus on Black Hammer's daughter. So I'm curious, getting back with the main people, what's it going to be? Or is it a focus on the anti-life or whatever that was called? It's not called officially the anti-life. It's called something like that, though. It's going to be, if it has to do with that or what it has to do with, but always really enjoy Black Hammer. Some good stuff. Some TV derivative comic books. Samurai Jack. But this is Samurai Jack, Quantum Jack is what this is called. Written by Rangel Jr., art by Johnson Cadwell. So it is a, kind of a spin-off of Samurai Jack. I believe the story premise is, what if Samurai Jack, at the end of the series, instead of going backwards, he just embraced the future and becomes Samurai Jack in this kind of future realm that he is in, I believe, is what it is. Or it's an alternate universe Samurai Jack. One of the two.
It's short. I know that this is the cover B. This is by the artist that did um, um, well, this is the guy. This is the artist that does the art for the book. The main. This is the B artist. B cover. The main cover is an oming. This is the artist that's on the inside. And I believe this is the artist that did Hell in a Crash, right? I want to say that the artist did Hell in a Crash. Kind of looking to see if there's an ad in the back that tells me that that's the case. If you like this person's this, you can get this. I'm not seeing it though, but I believe it is. So I really like that trippy art. It's just kind of a visual, kind of a odd, quirky kind of. If I don't know, if 13-year-old me got really good at drawing 13-year-old me artwork, is always kind of what it feels to me like. And so I enjoy that. I enjoy this kind of look of it. So I figure it's gonna be just kind of a crazy, hack and slack Samurai Jack adventure. So for, I think it's 4 or 6 issues. It'll be a lot of fun just to kind of romp through the quantum universe of Samurai Jack. So, and get that back in the bag. And lastly, my favorite DC comic book right now, I think, or one of my favorites, Super Sons, issue number 8, Planet of the Capes. I've just been really, these guys are just a lot of fun. The creators on this book, Tomasi writing it, Jimenez doing art on it, has just been a really, really fun book. I laugh every time I read it. I mean, I genuinely laugh. I chuckle. They're just, these 2 kids, John and Damien, are just great kids. They're fun as much as they push each other's buttons. They really are kind of good buds because they're kind of both in the same camp as far as, who their fathers are and what that means, and them trying to have their own identities, and relying on each other, even though they kind of both pridefully want to act like it's not cool to rely on each other and whatnot. But just a really great book. Always excited to read it. It's a lot of fun. And that's my books. That's the video. I'm out of here. I'll see you tomorrow. Comic Book Roundtable at its usual time with probably its usual people. Have a great one, everybody.